In the cabin, tension mounted among the passengers as anxiety gripped them. Jason, feeling the weight of responsibility, attempted to reassure them, but deep down, he knew the situation had escalated beyond his control. The sudden onslaught of birds had caught them off guard, and Jason was at a loss for what triggered their aggressive behavior or how to placate them. Desperate, he reached out to flight control for guidance, but his attempts to establish contact proved futile. As the flock of birds multiplied, their relentless onslaught obscured the view outside the windows, casting the cabin into darkness and heightening the sense of dread among the passengers. With limited visibility and the plane's trajectory compromised, Jason faced a critical decision. Attempting to ascend to shake off the birds risked destabilizing the aircraft, while descending threatened a perilous collision with the city below. With buildings looming dangerously close, Jason maneuvered the plane skillfully toward the relative safety of the countryside. Realizing that gaining altitude was futile, Jason resolved to navigate back to the airport for an emergency landing. But the challenge remained daunting: how to safely land amidst the chaos. Finally, a breakthrough came as flight control directed them to divert to a nearby smaller airport, offering a glimmer of hope in an otherwise dire situation. As the avian onslaught persisted, Jason identified a few birds that seemed to incite the others, exacerbating the situation. With cracks appearing in the windows and emergency services en route, Jason's sole focus was to safely reach the airstrip for assistance. Yet, the challenges only escalated upon entering the countryside, where the proximity of the forest attracted even more birds, posing a grave threat to the aircraft. As the birds swarmed closer, Jason recognized the imminent danger to the engines, knowing that a collision could spell disaster. Suddenly, a deafening bang echoed through the cabin, causing the plane to tremble uncontrollably and lose altitude. Panic ensued among the passengers as flames erupted from the engine, casting a terrifying glow through the windows. With limited options, Jason made a split-second decision. Spotting a body of water ahead, he calculated that a water landing offered their best chance of survival. Though the impact was jarring, it prevented the plane from breaking apart upon contact. As the urgency to evacuate mounted, Jason faced another obstacle. The exit was jammed shut. Overwhelmed by stress and desperation, he fought to maintain composure while grappling with the stubborn door. Fortunately, one of the stewardesses managed to pry open the other exit just as the plane began to sink. Despite the urgency of the situation, the crew worked diligently to ensure everyone's safe evacuation. However, amidst the chaos, some passengers prioritized their own escape, only to face the wrath of the birds upon exiting. As the Coast Guard initiated rescue operations, the passengers observed with alarm as the birds continued to circle the wreckage, seemingly fixated on something within. Jason's bewilderment grew as the birds displayed heightened aggression towards any approach to the plane's vicinity. Despite Jason's warnings, the Coast Guard persisted in their attempts to investigate the wreckage, prompting a fierce avian retaliation that forced them to retreat. The passengers and crew alike were left perplexed by the birds' inexplicable behavior and the mystery that surrounded the plane's cargo. As additional support was summoned to contend with the bird threat, the workers braced themselves for a standoff, wary of the ominous swarm that awaited them. As the crew outside faced the onslaught of birds, they swiftly retreated to the safety of the interior. Meanwhile, the tugboats maneuvered closer, shielded from the avian onslaught by the protective enclosure of the captain's cabin. Thinking on his feet, Jason proposed a solution based on his knowledge of bird behavior. He suggested using high-pitched sounds to scare off the birds, drawing inspiration from techniques employed at airports. Acting swiftly, the Coast Guard implemented this strategy, unleashing a barrage of sound waves that succeeded in dispersing the feathered aggressors back into the forest. With the skies momentarily clear, the tugboats seized the opportunity to secure cables to the plane and initiate the process of towing it to safety. Under the coordinated efforts of the Coast Guard and the tugboat operators, the plane was efficiently maneuvered out of the water, paving the way for a thorough investigation. As the police arrived on the scene, Jason found himself fielding questions about the events leading up to the emergency landing. He provided a detailed account of the flight, emphasizing the unusual behavior of the birds targeting the luggage room upon entering the plane. This peculiar detail sparked speculation about the potential significance of the cargo within. The police turned their attention to the passengers for answers regarding the contents of the luggage, recognizing that they held the key to unraveling the mystery. While most passengers cooperated, one individual stood out for their evasive and contradictory responses, arousing suspicion among the authorities. This suspicious passenger refused to divulge information about their luggage, further deepening the intrigue surrounding their identity and motives. A background check revealed alarming details. The passenger's passport appeared to be counterfeit, and their fingerprints matched those of a recently released convicted felon with sealed records. With the identity of the mysterious passenger shrouded in uncertainty, authorities remained on high alert, aware that they needed to uncover the truth behind the individual's intentions and the cause of the bird's erratic behavior. As the plane was extracted from the water and a specialized research team prepared to investigate, the birds, sensing the absence of the deterrent sound, swarmed back towards the aircraft. Suspecting they were targeting the luggage compartment, the team acted swiftly to repel the birds and gain access to the plane. Upon entering the aircraft, the team encountered unsettling sounds emanating from the luggage department. Focused on locating the source of the disturbance, they carefully approached the suitcases, realizing that they held the key to unraveling the unfolding mystery. Upon opening the suitcase, the research team was met with a shocking sight that prompted an urgent call to the police. The name on the luggage matched the false identity provided by the suspicious passenger. Hastily, they removed the suitcases from the plane, and Jason's blood ran cold as he beheld their contents. It became clear that the shady passenger was involved in the illicit smuggling of exotic birds. As additional law enforcement arrived on the scene, the full extent of the passenger's criminal activities came to light. This wasn't the first time he had been involved in such nefarious schemes. His past included prior charges for exotic animal smuggling. It was a harrowing realization for Jason and the authorities, knowing that the safety of the passengers had been jeopardized by the actions of one individual. The smuggler was swiftly apprehended and faced severe charges, including endangerment of the passengers. His reckless actions had not only put lives at risk, but also triggered the alarming behavior of the birds, leading to a potentially catastrophic situation. Jason attended the trial, overwhelmed with emotion as he witnessed justice being served. The safety of everyone on board had been secured, and despite the ordeal, they could finally find solace in the knowledge that they had emerged from the ordeal unscathed.